Greetings and welcome to another Fake Grand Order video. So it has finally been announced, it was announced I think last Saturday or Sunday, but the Demonic Capital Rashomon Revival quote-unquote short is coming back, and that means several things. We can get more craftiness of one is particularly useful, one I don't think is that useful. We have another chance to get the Loli Oni Princess right there, shooting doji. And we also have access to a brand new challenge quest that's going to be unlocked, but only if you are able to clear the Salomon chapter. So let's take a look at everything in order, shall we? First, obviously, the servant, Ibaraki Doji. Now, being an assassin means that you generally expect her to generate a lot of critical stars and use criticals to her advantage. But she's actually a little bit quite different in that regard, in that she focuses on, status effects, let's say. So attack and defense, well, attack and HP pretty decent there. And the star generation is pretty much standard for an assassin, so that's pretty nice. Star absorption is standard, and MP charge per attack is okay, honestly. She does have a good amount of death resistance, so that's good. And a 4-3-1 deck is definitely not bad. This balance between 4 on quick and 3 on the arts is definitely not bad. It will definitely help in charging up her noble phantasm. Now, her skills. 60% chance to charm all enemies for one turn. This is amazing because it doesn't matter what type of enemy it is, they can be charmed. Amazing. And then reduce their defense by 10 to 20%. Not bad. Okay, a very solid skill. Second skill, increase party's attack for 3 turns and increase own MP damage. Now, this is relatively important because we're going to get to her noble phantasm in just a little bit. But party attack 10 to 20 and her own MP damage 20 to 30. On a 5-turn cooldown, that is definitely not bad. The first skill on a 7-turn cooldown makes sense. Charm is extremely powerful in the game, so what can you expect? Now, third skill, just the guts for 5 turns. That's really how it is, honestly. Now, let's see, critical star generation, own damage. Okay, so, right. Anyway, her noble phantasm, this is where things get very interesting. So, it hits everybody, it is an arts, and deals damage to all enemies of 600% on rank 1, as normal. Reduces the debuff resistance, defense, their attack, MP damage, critical attack chance, seals their skills for 1 turn, and inflicts toxic status, which increases poison damage on them by 100%. Now, remember her second skill, which increases MP damage for 3 turns by 20 to 30%. Yeah, this damage increase, I believe, also applies to this poison, which is then amplified by this status. Not bad. Now, the only problem I see with that is that generally you use noble phantasms that reduce defense before your other more damaging noble phantasms in order to increase the damage. That's how you really get into the insane amounts of damage of 200% and higher. But overall, this is definitely I think it's the one that inflicts the most status effects on enemies, and on all of them, considering all that in the game. Now, the poison damage, if you grab her at level 1 and get her at the final one, 300 plus 30%, that would be 3,600, and then multiply that by 100% is around 7,200 damage per turn for 5 turns. That's if it even works like that, which I'm not even sure it is. But what can you do? But anyway, that's Shooting Doji right there. She is not a game-breaking servant, but definitely a useful one, and one that is worthy for collectors simply because it's the Loli Oni Princess. Now, onto the crafts essences of the event. First, golden carp figure. In case you don't know, that little teddy bear right there that's always on Artemis' shoulder, that's Orion. I'm not sure why she's with him. But anyway, starts the battle between 30 to 50 MP gauge, and starts the battle with 15 to 20 critical stars. Now, that doesn't seem that amazing, but if you give this to a servant on your critical-based team, then suddenly it starts getting more and more important, because if you are able to get both of copies onto your servants and then you use a skill that gives you 10 more stars, so suddenly you have 100% critical chance guaranteed on the first turn on your critical team, which snowballs the entire process of basically giving you 100% criticals for every single turn. So not bad. Also starting the battle with 30 to 50% MP gauge. Definitely useful. Then we've got the Wandering Tales of Shanao. Unfortunately, oh yeah, I also forgot. This right here. Make sure you equip it on somebody you actually want it. I believe on your back row there, because you will want to increase your damage as high as possible, because there is a challenge quest coming around, and also higher damage means faster clear rates and all that good stuff. Now, Wandering Words of Shanao. Oh, now this is the damage for the person equipped with it. So yeah, make sure you pay attention. Increases quick performance by 50%, 10 if you don't have a limb broken, and when defeated, increases party's quick performance by 30%. Not particularly amazing, but you're going to be using it during the event simply because of the damage up it gives you. 300% extra damage is no joke. But yeah, other than that, it's really just a nice artwork of Ah, I just forgot her name. I can't believe that. Why don't you... Who are you? Ujiro Kamaru, that's your name. Anyway. But then we also have the summonable craft essences. Fox Knight's Dream increases MP generation by 20% and creates 3 critical stars every turn. Obviously, the important part is the MP generation rate, and that should be Tamamo right there. If you manage to get 5 copies of it, 25% MP generation and 4 critical stars per turn. It's okay, honestly, the fact that if you are able to charge your Noble Phantasm over and over and over again, it can be useful. Although I believe a arts performance card, like the one that's got red on it, the 5-star one, it was a lot better than this one. This is really just for collection purposes. Now this one I actually really like. Increases damage against male enemies by 25% and increased debuff success rate by 12%. This is just icing on the cake, but the important part is the increased damage against males. If you manage to get 5 copies, it's 30% extra damage versus males. Now this is very important because, yeah, a lot of people are male in this game, and if you are able to give this to somebody that has a class advantage and is also a male killer, like say Aureale, and suddenly you give her this onto her, she can deal tremendous amounts of damage with her Noble Phantasm, especially if she has no problem charging it up. Now, let's talk about that challenge quest, shall we? Let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, the event shop is exactly the same. You collect stuff, you get traded out in for stuff, and then you get the points reward as well, which is the... Oh yeah, and by the way, very important here is that event shop mission, there's so many campaign requests. There was just also announced the... where is it? Something very important. This game updates. So these right here, hero crystals. That's because we now can boost our servants up to by 2,000 points in attack and defense. Right now it's limited to 990. So this is very important because these hero crystals can only be used on somebody that has reached that 1,000 mark. So these are extremely rare. And that means you can give your favorite servants even more strength. So yeah, fun, isn't it? And now let's talk about the challenge quest here. So as you can see, this is a pain in the butt. That's because Ibaraki Dojo has 14 damage resistance buffs in total, which can be removed by killing the hands. She will take 0 damage and gradually more damage as more buffs are removed. Poison and Curse deals 1 damage per turn instead of the original damage. Also has a Guts buff with no turn limit, 1 time can be removed, so consider bringing a buff remover. Has all skill effect variations from day 1 to day 7. I'm not sure what this is. I think this means that she has all the modifiers that we use during the raid event to deal extra damage to the raid bosses, essentially. And the player's front line will be debuffed with 3 turns of critical damage down at the end start of a battle, so don't rely on critical damage at the beginning of the fight. So, as you can see, we are basically facing against everything in the game, and Ibaraki Doji has 3 million HP. Now, this is extremely daunting, but remember, we are going in with event craft essences here. Info event craft essences. Remember, this one increases the quick servant's damage by 300%, and this one increases the entire party's damage by 100%. So, optimally speaking, you have you have this one from last year, and then you have 2 more on your back row, so that is an extra 200% extra damage. Although, considering you might want to have another servant have damage up personally, you might want to equip it both at limit broken state, so that's an extra 200% damage. However, that's not it for the event because so many campaign challenge quests came up in this one. I don't think, unfortunately, during this part of the event, we don't have servants that have damage up. That's during the later event. But then when you equip this one here onto your main damage dealers, suddenly their damage is greatly increased. So, tactics for this, well, the main thing you want to do is obviously focus on the hands, although they do have a considerable amount of HP the more you kill. So what do? Well, obviously bringing defense-focused servants is very important, so bringing along a Weber, Zhugliang is very important. Bringing a tank might be good, although the fact that the classes change around is not so cool here. Going in with a triple ruler setup might work, considering they would only take 4 damage from Ibaraki herself, but that would only be 1 attack per turn, and that is if she doesn't buff herself. And you can also start out with 2 Jeans and then rely on Shiro to deal the damage, or Martha Ruler if you have her. And what else? Let's see. The alter egos we just got are only useful against the cavalier classes, so casters, assassins, and riders. So I don't recommend bringing those along too much, although Kiara is an arts-based alter ego, and so is Jean, so combining those two, you could have the AoE damage, the survivability, and healing to make this work. So that's probably what I'm going to try and do. Now, the important part is that you get 915 bond points. That is a boatload. Okay, opinion and decent experience. But yeah, and the reward for that is 1 summon ticket. Yeah, 1 summon ticket for all that. Just remember that you need to clear Solomon in order to be able to access this chapter. Well, the high difficulty battle. So I know at least one of my viewers is going to be able to. He's still stuck in Camelot. We are trying to help him out. But yeah, that is the Rashomon Revival US. However, that is not the only thing happening here. That's because after this, we are going to get the Onigashima event rerun. Give me a second while I bring that up. Gonna sumo wrestling. No, that's not the one. Where? Here we go. Onigashima event rerun. So this is the part where we get the Kintoki Rider Servant, which is absolutely amazing, by the way. So let's take a look. Similar to the Rashomon event rerun, there will need to be used battle points. Max battle point is 8 for this event. Main reward is Kintoki Rider, obviously. Oh, and there will be a challenge quest. Ooh, nice. I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, event shop. Kintoki Rider, obviously, and his Ascension materials. You obviously want to get him. Also, the Sumo Wrestling is actually a very decent one. At max level, increase attack by 15% and start with 50% MP Gauge. Not bad, honestly. If you're not sure what to put on your servant and they are basically damage dealers, giving that to them is not bad. But what else is there in this? Post-game shop, nothing there, nothing there. Damage points rewards, what do we have here? There's the other one we needed right there. Ascension materials, oh here we go, here's the other one. Hot Springs of the Moon. Increases critical damage by 25% at limit broken and gain 4 critical stars every turn. Honestly, most servants that rely on critical damage do that through quick cards. And that means that in the quick performance up of 25% from the 5-star craft instances that is always in the pool is superior to this in basically most ways. But party's damage plus 100% and damage to 200%, so just like last time. So you want to get them either way or the other. But let's get into the main part, the summoning campaign. So during this time, you're going to be able to get Minamoto and Sagara Kindoki. So let's take a look at the Big Mom here, shall we? 11,000 attack and 30,500 HP, not bad. I think that right there is the same sword that Ushigawa Maru uses, at least it's the same type of sheath. But anyway, 2 arts on a Berserker Servant is definitely interesting. That means you'll be able to charge a Noble Phantasm more reliably than other Berserkers here. Now, Eternal Alms Mastership A+, increase on critical star absorption for 3 turns. So this is why you want some critical stars honor, but I don't think it's that important yet. Then, increase on Buster Performance 1 turn and grant self evasion. Now, it's important to note that this is evasion and not invincibility, because there are servants out there that we do end up fighting that ignore evasion. But the Buster Up obviously is the most important part of her kit, so you want to level this up as quickly as possible. Third skill, increase own damage against demonic, increase own damage against enemy servants with earth or sky attributes. This excludes demi-servants, pseudo-servants, except Citonaya. Yeah, things get very complicated when you get into this. So let's get into earth and sky, shall we? So as you can see, these are all the servants that she deals extra damage to. Yeah, essentially all of them. Except for pseudo-servant, demi-servants, and pseudo-servants. Okay, so let's see. Except for Mash, obviously. And pseudo-servants. So these are essentially, from what I can tell, real-life people that were possessed by the heroic spirits. So Weber, we both Rogishikish, Ishtar, Jaguar Man, which is Taiga Nether, another Ishtar, and this is as far as we go so far. So yeah, that is what she can do. Now, let's see. Debuff resistance, always good. Buster performance, nice as riding, increase on quick performance. This is actually very interesting because this means that Nobunaga can deal great damage to her. And she is also divine, meaning that Nobunaga's third skill can deal even more damage to her. And she's a berserker, so she takes extra damage, so Nobunaga is an amazing servant against her. Now, Oxygen Stormcall, the Inescapable Net of Heaven, deals damage to all enemies of 300%. This is essentially 450% because she deals 50% extra damage to everybody except a class we do not have yet. And then increase on critical star generation for 1 turn. Really, that really is it. So the way you use her, or the way I ended up using her last time the event was here, is grab a friend that has her maxed out, use this, and basically use her to have her kill herself, essentially. The one you got for your friends list, it deals immense damage to the boss at the end of the event, which will farm a little bit. Because of this. So demonic enemies, she is not demonic, but she is earth or sky. And she is a berserker, and you have this. So yeah, that's what she's all about. But let's take a look at the golden boy himself, Sakara Kintoki, his original version. As you can see, he's very proud of his right arm. But let's see, 12,000 attack, very nice, and 12,000 B, very nicely balanced. Triple Buster, as we expect from a Buster Servant there. But so let's see, increase on attack by 30 to 50% for 1 turn. Yeah, this is definitely a very powerful steroid if you manage to get his Buster Heroic chain going. Second skill, charges on MP cost 30 to 50%, very nice. This is very rare on Berserker style servants, especially one that really needs it with 3 Buster cards there. Third skill, increase on offensive debuff resistance and recovers HP. Honestly, this is more of a heal. Honestly, this skill you can essentially ignore because this is the main part, the resistance. Unfortunately, because it is resistance and not removal, I don't really like it that much, so I would not level this skill at all. Obviously, level these two if you can. Buster performance by 2%, he isn't really that mad, honestly, and own damage, okay. Anti-unit 600%, and chance to stun him by 50% to 100 depending. So yeah, he is basically a raw Buster damage right there, and with his ability to instantly charge his Noble Phantasm, and to give himself a massive strength, and if you happen to have a, say, Merlin with you, he can do a tremendous amount of damage. Now the reason you don't see him as often as you used to is because of the introduction of the break bar. That's because he is designed to deal basically 1 massive damage burst in 1 turn, and then it's back to square one with recharging his Noble Phantasm and all that stuff. And his lack of survivability of any sort, honestly, 1000 HP is nothing, makes him extremely vulnerable to being focused down. That's why you don't see him on friend lists anymore. But yeah, those are the 2 limited summons you'll be able to get during the second part of the event. And yeah, the Golden Sumo run you definitely want to get your hands on. It's very nicely and universal for any servant that deals damage. This one, not so much, but you want it for the event for the party damage up. So yeah, and that is the Onigashima. Now let's see, anything special? Let's see, free quest is the challenge here? Is a challenge quest here? Let's see, are you here? Yeah, challenge quest, here we go. Okay, Oni Taiko. Let's see, so the 3 giant Oni bosses, each charges all allied units MP tick by 1 where their first layer of HP is removed. Okay, here we go, so so this basically means that whenever any of the 3 ogres is defeated, they charge the Noble Phantasm charge of their allies that are alive by 1. And they have 2 break bars, oh dear, yeah. And then again, retain their card type resistance buffs in this quest. Okay, so basically, one of them is resistant to Buster, 1 to Art, 1 to Quick. So you might consider bringing along a servant that can do a little bit of both. When any layer of Minamoto's HP gets removed, it increases her defense and critical star generation rate of all the... Oh, the player's ally... Okay. So bringing her down as quickly as possible is probably your best bet. Because that way you get a nice big buff, and you get critical star generation which helps you take down this. So that is the tactic for this challenge quest, and to get your 1/7 ticket. So here it's basically take down the these stones first, because and it's a rider, which is not bad. So coming in with Kintoki Rider is definitely a good choice here. And maybe even shooting Doji from the last event is good here. So take down those and take down Gorikimaru. And then once the second wave starts, take out Minamoto as quickly as possible. That way you get her defense buffs, and that way you get the critical star generation rate. And the reason you don't want to touch them is because whenever any of their HP bars are reduced, Minamoto will get 1 charge of MP bar. So yeah, and that is very dangerous because as we just saw, she does an AoE Buster style, and because it's a boss, it will basically wipe out your entire party if you don't have evasion or invincibility. So yeah. This challenge quest honestly seems a lot easier than the one from the Rashomon event. But by a lot, honestly, this one seems a lot more difficult. But we will see when the event actually starts tomorrow of all days, so yeah. So anyway, happy pulling if you're after any of the particular servants. Always go for the sumo wrestling, it's a universally nice one. This one not too bad. And good luck on trying to get either Minamoto, Saka, Takintoki, or Suindoji if you're after any of them. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.